Welcome, I'm Jack from Andertons Music, and this is the new Nord Lead 4. The Nord Lead 4, surprisingly, is the fourth in the line of the Lead series. I don't know how I figured that out. Virtual analog engine they've been working on since the dawn of time. It's 4-part multi-timbral. Each part has 2 oscillators, 2 LFOs, that are syncable, a modulation envelope, an amp envelope. It's got lots of envelopes all over the place. It's also got 6 different types of effects and a selectable delay or reverb on each part. All combined with these new impulse morph features and the fact that everything on here can be controlled by Nord's special morph feature, which I'll show you in a bit, makes it incredibly powerful. And you've probably seen some amazing demos of a chap from Nord, especially at Mesa. I did, and it's all singing or dancing. We're going to try look at some of the features today and also see how that relates to a normal musician, a fiddler at home, or someone who's out gigging as well. So let's have another look at this beast. Nord Lead 4, it's been out for a few weeks. I had it in the showroom for that time as well. I was lucky enough to be the chap that got it out of the box, really excited about playing it. And I must say that when I was told I had to do a video on it, I wasn't over the moon for once with a Nord product, because when I'd had a play on it in the showroom, it hadn't really ticked my boxes really. I always want like fat, raw synthesis that I can edit really quickly. And hey, there's loads of controlling parameters on here. I love that, and we'll get into it. And luckily enough, I got to take this home last night, and I only had an hour with it. But a real big shift for me was realizing there's 2 distinct modes on the Nord Lead 4, namely a performance mode and then a program mode. And the performance mode, it shows off all the new features really well, but it wasn't one that kind of struck me as something personally that I'd use the way they've set it up in their presets. So I'll give you an example where the 3rd preset on here in performance mode, I'll play it for you. Okay, so lots of arpeggiation going on, and I can hear the new syncable delay effects as well. Syncable LFO and delay. And here's a good point to make out. This is the first one, other than the Nord Stage 2, that has essentially a master clock. So there's always a tempo going on in there, and you can choose the LFOs and the delays and the arpeggiator all to sync up to the master clock. And that's really revolutionary, because you can change the groove or the kind of appearance of an arpeggio very quickly just by maybe changing the division on the delay, or maybe changing the waveform on the LFO. And before, on the Nord Wave especially, when it had a delay on there, it was just a delay out there, and you kind of had to manually get it in there. But now you can tap tempo. Even on here, you've got a tap tempo on the master clock. Tap tempo all your modulations and arpeggios all in, so they sync. So it's really good for actually in the studio. You can make some grooves, put that in, you know that's all going to be in time for when you're recording it. Or even live, if you're playing with a click, it can accept a MIDI clock as well. So we could take a feed from a backing track, or from a laptop, or even a drummer who could send out some MIDI information to you, and it'll all play in time. That's the performance mode. I'm going to play a few more patches that exhibit this new feature called impulse morph. Okay, that was me playing around with a button, or a group of buttons, that hasn't been on any other Nord before. Impulse morph buttons. And these are like one-shot, non-latching morph buttons. Now, I'll get into a little bit of what morphing is, and it's quite a unique feature on the Nord. I use it a lot on their other keyboards, especially the Stage series. And it means that a group of parameters can all be assigned to a controller, say the wheel or aftertouch, that this doesn't have, so we can't use that as a source, but we can use velocity, so how hard you hit it. And it means that you can get an array of parameters all being controlled at once, so by one controller. So this wheel, I could have assigned cutoff frequency, the resonance, also the delay could have gone up, and maybe I could be taking down the pitch of another oscillator. We'll do that in a patch in a bit, but I digress, because all of that feature that's continuously available on a wheel or on another modulation source is now you can assign to just a button. So let's give that a go. Let's hear what it was doing initially. So there's a little pitch thing, you can hear it. When I hit that, it's kicking the pitch up of an oscillator somewhere. But let's try put something else on there that we can hear. I'm just going to go for it. So let's use one of the effects. We've got a drive effect here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this down, set this to 0 because I want the range to be quite extreme when it comes in. I'm going to hold that down and crank that up. And whilst I'm holding that down, that should have assigned it to this #1 impulse morph button. So when I put it on, hopefully, when I hit it, it should be quite distorted on one bit. Let's give it a go. So as you can see, if I want to make really quick changes, say in a song, I could be, say, a dance chap, I could have this all synced up to some DJing, and I want to make a quick change, you could almost play that like you're doing a DJ set. I mean, it'd be the worst DJ set ever, in my example, but you can do that to really quickly change the sound, or even if you're live and you go, oh, there's that bit where I have to flick the cutoff up for that mid-late on this, or I have to, the delay on the intro needs to be that. Instead of having the wheel and taking it back, or having a pedal doing it, you can just hit that button now, and that's where I see a use for impulse morph. Today in Andertons' new demo room, I've been rocking through a Stage Pass 150. Little amp, can I show you the back of it? Can I show you the back of it? Yeah, I can show you the back of it. So, one speaker, cool. In the back, you've got a mixer that can come out with loads of inputs and outputs. Check our website out for it, but I'm really enjoying playing through it. And I'm going to play some stuff through it right now. Okay, that was me hopefully trying to show you how to use the master clock, and how the fact that the delays syncing up to the master clock there with the arpeggio, all speaking to this one global tempo inside that they're calling the master clock, allows you to do things that you haven't been able to do on any other Nord before. In the program screen you saw there when I was changing this knob here, which is generally the tempo of a delay, actually when you've got it synced to the master clock, because it already knows the tempo, this is just changing the subdivisions of the delay in relation to the clock. So we can see here I've got a dotted 16th note, an 8th note triplet, so you can really quickly change the groove of something with one knob. That also applies for the LFO, so if I wanted to do some filter sweeps that maybe are following the waveform of a triangle, or even like a random waveform that they've got in here, all of that will sync up. Now that's really powerful, and that's just on the one part. So we looked at how the master clock allowed us to sync arpeggios and LFOs all together. That's one of the big unique features of the Nord Lead 4 over any of their other ones. Also the performance mode and how we use the impulse morph. But I want to have a look at just how we start from a basic program, or even like bare bones, initializing the patch and how we may be able to start stacking them together, because it's 4-part multi-timbre, and really the power of it is how you can stack sounds up. So let's have a look. This is program 1 on the whole keyboard. Okay, so cool sound there. Let's initialize it so we try to get back to a real bare bones building block here. So shift, sound initial. You're never more than just a shift and a press away from anything. They're really keen on that. So no menu diving. So we've done that, and let's have a listen to what we've got. So we've got, there we are. So just a saw wave on its own. Now let's do something to that saw wave. We've also got a second oscillator, so let's put another saw wave on there, and also we've got an oscillator mix between the two, so we'll put that and we'll detune that a bit. So you can hear we've got 2 oscillators there. I'm cool with that. Maybe we want a new feature of the Nord Lead 4, you can drive the filter itself. So introducing a bit of drive into the filter, not just after like in the effects it was before, so that's unique. And what the heck, let's use the new ladder M. They can't say it, but we can say it. It's modelling a Moog filter, and they haven't been able to do that before. We've also got a 303 filter on there, so 2 new things. We'll use the Moog one, and let's drench it in some reverb. So it sounds like we're making a pad now. Let's put some of that on there. So we got that sound. We want to put something on top of it. So we're in slot A at the moment. We're going to go to slot B. Turn that on. Same thing, I'm going to initialize it here. So I've got a building block. This time I'm going to use one of the wave tables, which is another new addition. They've got all the wave types on here. But because I'm thinking we've got a pad there, let's use one of the piano ones. And as you see, it switches to P. And let's just have a listen to what that sounds like. So again, you've just got to change the cutoff frequency now and again. Make sure you've got the raw sound. Well, let's go for that one. We'll go for that one. And we just want one oscillator of it. I don't want anything posh. But now I want to stack that on top of the pad we did before. So if I hit them both together, that's them both together. If I want to adjust the level of them independently, I can click on slot A. You see that's flashing. That means now I'm controlling slot A. So I'll go to slot B actually, and I'll turn the level of that piano down a bit. I've got that there, and maybe on the piano I just want a little bit of delay. This is to show that all the reverbs and delays are independent each part, and how you can get really fat complex sounds. So let's turn this on, and yeah, we'll see if that's got a little bit of delay on it. Cool, you've also got a shift, and these you can change the amount of feedbacks you've got in there. So there we go. Cool, let's do that and play that together. And if I wanted to turn a part off and just go back to A, double click, and now we're on A, B, together. So you can see with some double clicks and some shifts, that's how you get around the Nord Lead 4. No menu diving. I had to be careful there, didn't have to say anything else. Diving, but no menu diving, really tactile, and hey, it's great for a fiddler. Okay, to round up on the Nord Lead 4, we've had a look at the impulse morph technology, master clock, some of the new effects, and we tried to build a sound from scratch. Risky business. I know it wasn't the best sound, but hopefully you got to see how a layman like myself had a little fiddle. Just a quick one, just how the thing's built and its weight. In the manual it even alludes to the fact they make instruments for sound and also lightweight instruments that people can gig with, and it's super lightweight. Keyboard action is really good and responsive. Even though it doesn't have aftertouch, I would have liked that, but you can actually assign that, I think, in a sequencer. Anyway, That's for someone to tell me if you know, or to look at a really geeky video. These wooden end cheeks, these are the first ones that are satin as well. I'm just going to caress them a bit because I think they're lovely, especially in the studio. It's going to be lovely to have a little rub when you're bored in between making tracks. Anyway, I love to finish on a demo button and then walk off. It's going to be a little bit more involved this time because we're going to have to build our own demo button because it's a really big grown-ups keyboard without one on it. But I can show you another feature that I thought was really cool last night when I had to play with it. Not only does it have the arpeggios, but it also has pattern types. And instead of just going up through the chord, we can set it to have a groove. There's actually a few different pattern types: elementary, straight, groove, backbeat, odd meter, and fills. So this is probably going to be the longest ever demo button out, but you might as well see me give it a go at creating our own demo. So here we go. We've got a sound. Let's go with that. I am going to turn the arpeggio feature on, and I'm also going to sync it to the master clock. I just need to do one flick this red thing from off to on. So the arpeggio should be on there, and then I have to shift and then pattern, and I'm going to go around just so you can see it on the screen. E is elementary. We don't want elementary for a demo. It'd be an insult to you and me. I'm going to go all the way to groove. Yeah, we're going to choose a groove. I'm going to feel that groove 3 would be a great groove to end on. Hold, enable, and then hold. So hopefully when I play it, oh, I've got to flick this round to pattern. Now in pattern mode, should be able to demo button and out.